Hi everyone, this is Saman Fatima again with a new episode for my podcast Off the Record with Saman on ITSP Magazine. Just a brief recap. I know we've got distant from this particular podcast because I myself was struggling with a new job and movement and a lot of other things from being a fresh graduate to being into the corporate world. So, this podcast, I usually have guests from around the world who have moved to different countries for their masters or for their bachelors or for their postgraduates, and they are surviving and having fun, and how they are corporate wise or study wise enjoying into a new country and what were their struggles when they came up here. With that being said, we've had successful 3 episodes in 2023, and we head down to the fourth episode today with my new guest, who is into a college where we have heard a lot of folks going into. That's a beautiful city as well. And I myself would love to go there as well. So, with that being said, welcome back, everyone. We'll be more consistent here with the episodes. And Happy New Year's to everyone. And I hope everyone's safe. And we'll move ahead and we'll welcome our new guest, Anusha Vajha. And I will let her introduce herself. What college is she from? What is the course she is pursuing? And there we'll go forward with our further questions. So welcome, Anusha.
Hi, I'm Anusha Vajha. I moved to Boston in the fall of 2022. I'm from Hyderabad, India, and I pursued my undergraduate studies in information technology at the Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, that is also in Hyderabad. And after I completed my bachelor's, I felt a strong calling to dwell deeper into the world of cybersecurity, and that led me to pursue my master's at Northeastern University in Boston. Yeah.
That's amazing. So, as I actually mentioned, it's a great college. We've heard a lot of folks joining that college, and I know cybersecurity is now the new degree. And I've seen a lot of people and a lot of young folks joining that course, and it's really great for us to know about cybersecurity and then work. So, welcome again, and thank you so much for sharing that information. So, going forward with this, I just wanted to ask, like, you would have had a lot of colleges, a lot of courses to actually decide from. You would have gone through a lot of time to see how is the college, how is the curriculum, what is the city that I'll go. So there would have been a lot of things, and out of there, you chose Boston and Northeastern University. So how did you come up with that choice?
So basically, I applied to only 4 universities because I had a very clear idea of what I wanted in terms of both the program and the overall university's experience. My dream university was Carnegie Mellon University, and I was really captivated by the cybersecurity program. The curriculum, their community, the collaborations they have, everything about it is so great. I really wanted to go there. It really resonated with me. Northeastern was my second choice. It stood out to me for its experiential learning, the co-op program. That was a major draw for me. And next on the list was University of Maryland, UMD. This was my target university. I liked their rigorous coursework. They had good academic curriculum. Everything was great there as well. I felt it would be a right fit for my academic goals, and I was very confident that I will be accepted there as well. And my safe university was University of North Carolina at Charlotte, UNCC. So these were my list of universities. And the dream of attending CMU was almost coming true. I got the acceptance from CMU, but then the reality of tuition fees hit very hard. And I had to consider the financial aspect of the education as well. My parents, especially my father, he felt a very heavy weight of knowing the financial strain, of like that would be put on me if I attend CMU. So even though I was taking out an education loan, he asked me to consider my options and to go for something that would give me a similar experience and opportunities without burning a hole in my pocket. And he just asked me one question, that why I wanted to spend the best years of my life, like my 20s, constantly worrying about making money, how I'm going to repay my loan, given the situation, the market, everything. And he always says that, education should empower you and it should not burden you. And he really encouraged me to take this phase of the life or the experiences it could offer beyond the financial stress and everything. He said you should travel, you're going to meet new people, and you have so many things that you want to explore. There are so many passions that you want to explore. So he really urged me to like think about that. And that perspective was definitely a reality check for me, and I had to like weigh the pros and cons. And that's when I took the final decision to attend Northeastern.
I have a lot of comments on this chat. Like, um, those four colleges are like in everybody's list. I have seen a lot of my folks, my friends, colleagues who have done their masters from these colleges. I know like someone who came up on this podcast, the first episode, Harini. She is from CMU itself, and she did her masters from there. And I've heard great things about that college. And I agree, all the four colleges that you apply to, they're like great colleges. The cybersecurity course is amazing there, even for the North Carolina one. We've had Ruchira as well on this podcast. She did her masters from there. So it's amazing. I've heard Northeastern, I've heard UMD as well. People go there. And I really like that point. And I really like that thing. My parents were also very supportive of my education. And I really like that point when they said that, education should not be a burden.
Yes.
Because this is one experience, it's like a lifetime experience for all of us, for all the international students, not just in US, but in other countries as well, because you get to see the education of a different country. You get to work and study in and coexist in a diverse environment, and that is something where you do not want finances and everything to come up in picture. That's the harsh reality. We know
Yeah.
that we struggle through those things as well, but getting to the point is you have all that newer experiences, and finances is one reason that I've also cut shorted a couple of colleges at my time as well. So I would not lie there. Everyone sees that. Everyone sees how is the city, how is the expenses of the city. You get across to a lot of things and then you make that decision. So at times the curriculum is good, everything is good, but at times our pockets are not that full, to pay for that. So I completely understand that. And that's just the best decision you took. And who knows, someday you will get across to CMU as like a guest lecture person or anything, and you could just go around that college. And living here means you can anytime visit the premises of that college as well. So I hope that happens and you get to see your dream college, or may have seen it by now.
I did. I did.
Oh, that's great. So, you saw it. So that's like a great point there.
Yeah.
So with that being said, since we know like how did you chose and came across and come to the final conclusion that you wanted to come to Northeastern, what is the key elements that you would want to share with the folks here, that what was the process and what are the things needed as part of the application process, and what are the things that one should stress on, that these are very important things that you should have it, or are there any sort of scores that are needed, any examination scores that are needed, or what is the scenario if you want to talk about?
Mhm. I would say first, before you start looking into exams or anything, I think it's very important to prioritize what matters to you. Like, what course do you want to do, or what you want to study? Like, what is your aim after going to the US? Because coming to US is one thing, but um, what you have to study and your life after this after you study, what you want to do should be very clear to you before you start the whole process. So I would say that like prioritizing that would be number one. And then I personally did not write any exams. I did not write GRE because it was waived off. Most of the colleges waived it off when I was
For
applying
me
because
as well.
time. Yeah. So I did not, I don't want to spend $200 on that. So I just did not write the exam. I just did IELTS and I got a score of 8 on my IELTS. And after that, I proceeded with my applications. My SOP took around, I think I wrote it for like a month. I started off with a rough draft and I developed it like every other day. I would sit with my mother sometimes. I would sit with my seniors sometimes. I would take all the feedback I could get. um, but before I started my SOP, I did a rigorous research of universities, so that I could tailor my SOP based on the universities I was applying for. Uh, and I looked for universities that not only offer a strong the academic curriculum, but I also wanted like enough opportunities for extracurriculars as well, like outside of academics. What did they have to offer the communities, and um, everything the university has apart from its curriculum, because I think that's very important. I don't want to be a person who just goes to the university, does their coursework, and goes home. So that was a very important aspect for me. I wanted to include myself in everything that the university had to offer. So I definitely looked into what the university has, what the students do. I reached out to a couple of people on LinkedIn, and I spoke to some friends of friends who went there or considered that university. So that was definitely one thing. And I watched a lot of YouTube videos where they would do university tours and they would talk about their university experiences. I felt like that was a motivating point for me, because every time I used to watch those videos, I used to get really motivated. Oh my God, I'm going to be one of those people. Oh my God, I can experience that, this. So yes. And so my SOP took like couple of heavy drafts, and I did not depend on any consultancies. I did everything by myself, and I really put my genuine self on the SOP, so that the people who review it know where I'm coming from, what I wanted in my life, and why I'm choosing this particular university. So I was very clear on that. And then I got my LORs from my professors. I did not have any relevant big time work experience. Like I just had done like 2 internships. So I just took all my LORs from my professors, because I did some research work at college and I had a good relationship with my HOD as well. So I was able to get a good LOR from my professors itself. So that's how I chose my LOR professors. And yeah, and after that, I just applied and waited to get my acceptances. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I understand. SOP do takes a lot of time, and I also did it all by myself. I did not take any outside help, but yeah, I've had friends here and who actually helped me a lot. And I've made like zillion drafts, and
Right.
everywhere, things were rejected. Okay, this is getting too, too professional. This is not you. Just write something what you feel, and then draw the dots with your bachelor's, and then why do you want to do this master's. And I've had like experience in cyber as well, and I've had that passion. So I was like, I knew in my head, like we all know in our head that we want to do it. But when it comes to words, we just go short on them. So I understand. SOP took me my most of the time. And if you happen to like remember, how many LORs did you submit while you were filling up the application?
I think it was 3 LORs. If I'm not wrong. Yes, it was 3 LORs. I had 3 LORs on my profile.
Okay, perfect. And then the SOP. And were there any like video questions, any sort of essays that were needed, any written essay, or where you want to record a video and you had to answer a couple of questions, anything of that sort of part of the application?
For CMU, there was no SOP. There were essay
No,
questions
this
that
just
I
for
had to answer.
Northeast.
But for Northeastern, no, it was just my SOP, resume, LORs, test scores, and that's it.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Because yeah, there are a couple of institutions. For me as well, I had to record a video where they gave me 5 questions where I had to speak about them in a video and submit that. So just a pro tip for everyone, if you're recording any sort of video, probably, tailor it as if you are part of that institution itself. So that gives you a positive image that you really want to join that institution, and that could fetch you some extra points. And then you can talk more about it. All these things, SOP and the videos, you have to be very real and organic with things. And you don't have to tailor it like a presentation or a professional that, it has to be all good. You can talk about things, and they just look on those ends as well, on the personal half of it. So with that being said, is there like a timeline? Like, do they take folks only for specific times? Like, is it just a fall course, or is it just a spring course or a summer course, or you could apply all through the year, like, or is it just fall intakes?
All the programs I looked into had fall and spring intakes. I applied for spring intake for all of them, but for Northeastern, I had the opportunity to defer my application to fall, and I got my acceptance in November, and the program was starting in January, and it was way too less of a time for me to catch up with everything. So I decided to take the deferral opportunity and move it to fall. So they had that opportunity. So that was very helpful.
You would need that for the visa
Yes.
process.
Even
So yeah, go ahead.
Maryland and UNCC also offer the defer process, like the option to defer. CMU does not. I asked them if I can defer to the next semester, and they said no, this is only for spring acceptance. If you want to if you want to apply for a fall application, you're free to, but we won't be able to move this to fall because they have a particular set of students that come in for this semester, and this is their
Yeah,
you know,
I
there's,
agree. For my college itself, it was just fall intake. And
yeah.
if you want to defer it, you have to only defer it till fall next year.
Oh,
So you can still defer it, but it has to be very genuine reasons, or else they just ask you to reapply again. So that's the thing. I agree. Before I head down to like the major question of visa, because in your case it would be interesting, because you got the acceptance in November, and then how did you manage all that thing? Before that, I just wanted to ask you, were there any other options you had in mind apart from USA, like coming to USA? Were there any other countries on your radar as well that you wanted to apply or you did apply? And how did USA had that precedence? Or in any case, you were only planning to come to USA?
USA was definitely the top option for me. I looked into other countries as well. UK isn't doing so well in terms of after graduation prospects. Um, and I was already seeing a lot of my seniors and a lot of friends who went to UK but came back to India because they were not able to land a job. And that really I decided not to go for UK Masters, even though they have some really good programs. And I looked into some programs in Canada, but again, United States is a global hub for technology and innovation. And yeah, I wanted to be immersed in that environment with the cutting edge technology and all the opportunities that I can get, especially in the field of cybersecurity, because it's so always evolving so much. And yeah, I think that's the reason I went for USA education.
I agree. I agree. It's like the hub of opportunities, and
Yes.
the number of options you get here is somewhere the most if you compare it with any other country. So I also opted up for Canada first, but there are very little less colleges with core cybersecurity curriculum. And when I saw it here, they're like every small to big university, everywhere you'll have like a good competitive curriculum in cybersecurity as well. So that's the basic thing that we see here, that how many options do we get? And if you're getting lesser option, that means it's not much evident there. So I completely agree. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. You want to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, even though the competition is huge right now in the USA, I still think that it still has like at least one opportunity for everyone who comes here. So, yeah.
I agree. I totally agree with that point because I was into that time as well. So I agree. Going ahead, the very important question, and it's like getting the elephant of the room is talking about the visa process. I know it's pretty difficult to get the appointments. I myself was running out of time, and I could somehow get one appointment just 10 days before my date of flying. And it's all like a manifestation, do and die situation, that you now have to get it because you've put in so much efforts by that time, because it's months of preparation and months of prepping on the financial documentation that you have to put forward for that visa process. So how was your experience, I would ask, emotionally and process wise? How were you catering to things, and how were the things for you?
So, when I got my acceptances, I was very happy. I was over the moon. I got the first acceptance from UNCC, followed by UMD, followed by Northeastern, and finally CMU. So that was a whole roller coaster ride for sure. And um, it took me and my family a week after I got my acceptance from CMU to, you know, which college should I go for? What should I do? How do I financially manage everything? And by this time, I applied for I-20s from all the colleges because I knew if I had to leave in December, I have to get started with the process. Maryland has the quickest process I've ever seen. They send me the I-20 in 2 days. Um, and after that, after I got the I-20s, I deferred it then. But as soon as I got my I-20, I started with my visa process just so I can stay ahead. Like, I didn't know what was going to happen in the future. There was a little idea that I wanted to defer, but I was not super sure about that as well. I had to apply for the loan. I had to get all my documents in, on the checklist. I had to do everything. So the first thing I did as soon as I got my I-20 was just go ahead and register myself on the visa website and get myself checked in, keep opening the website, check for the slots, see if I can get anything. And by the time it was already very late, I could see that most of the students who were planning to go in spring semester already had their visa appointments ready and to go. And Northeastern took around 2 weeks to send their I-20. And yeah, but I had my Maryland I-20, so I thought if I'm able to get a slot, I'll like take this I-20, see if I can like get it changed, or because a lot of people suggested to apply for the visa slot first, and if you get something, then you can see what you can do if there's any changes you had to make.
That's
So
one big challenge to get a visa slot. So just everyone to know, be very vigilant, day and night you have to put in. I've had friends in USA who helped me search for visa slots as well. So I was checking in India hours, they were checking in their US hours, and you have to somehow, make it, because it just opens up at really random times, and it's just one or two, and then you go ahead and book them.
Yeah, I joined a couple of Telegram channels as well, where they keep monitoring the status and the update if there's any openings. But I took the decision to defer very soon. By the end of November, I thought, okay, this is too soon. I don't think I can make it on
That
time.
was
So
a
that
smart decision, actually, I would say, because if there is an option, why not take time, and
yeah,
why to just stress yourself a lot when you know you can't make it? And
yeah,
I know with colleges, there's a thing, like I also went to my college, like I missed my in-person orientation. I did it online. So, you have to take N number and N levels of permissions to actually miss the first day of class. And why are you missing that? And at times, few of the universities do not cater to the reason that you do not have a visa. Like they would not take it on themselves. They would have other people to join them, or
yeah,
probably they would make that class that small itself. So I also had to go through a couple of permission levels where I asked them that I would be missing them. And they were very clear on those terms that if you miss the first week of class, we're good. But if you skip the second week of class, don't bother to come. Come
yeah,
next fall, like apply
right.
again, get yourself deferred, and come next fall. We because because it depends on the like duration of the course as well, that they have designed it in a way that you would not be able to cope up with all those things. So that is something you also should keep in mind, that if you're putting in money efforts, because visa and everything takes financial and physical stress a lot. So if you have an option to defer, probably which Anusha would be talking next, where I've cut her. So probably take that step, because it's difficult with all these processes, and you really want all your paperwork correct, because it's like the visa process, it's the difficult one. Yeah, go.
Yeah, and if you're late to arrive in the US, I'm sure you would have had some problem with the immigration as well. They would have asked you some questions like, why are
None,
you
actually.
your
He just
program?
asked me, okay, my best moment was I came out of the aeroplane and it was like midday. And it was just our arrival that happened at that time. So there was not much of rush. And I have this problem of in long flights, because it was my first longest flight, that too alone. So I've had like bad problems, I was crying all the way through, and then it was so lonely, and then it was so long for the journey, that when I came in front of the officer, I just gave him my passport, and my ears were actually clogged at that time because of the air pressure and everything. I was not able to hear him properly. He just said to me, just see in front of the camera. And I saw there, and he was like, welcome to United States and enjoy your master's journey. That's it. He asked me nothing. And I was like, I was just standing there and I was looking at it. So he was like, ma'am, you can go. So, and for others, what I've seen is it's pretty in depth. They ask you, like, give
Yeah,
me your address, where are you staying, and everything. I memorized my address as well, where I was about to go. And they also ask you, like, what is the duration of your course? And they can ask you a number of things where you're carrying your booklet of documents. But, for me, it was pretty easy. I was like, bye, okay, thank you.
yeah. I think sometimes they also ask if you've paid your fees. I've heard that a lot when I came here. If you were coming
They
just
ask the
one,
receipts for it as well.
yeah,
And
if it was just 1 week before the start date and you were just landing here, some students said that they were asked about their fees, whether they paid their fees and everything.
a lot of them were even asked, did you grab a seat at your university to show a receipt for that, or the service receipt, or in that case, where is your address? Do you have the rental agreement for it, or anything of that? So they could actually ask you anything. It's just what I would say is this process is really crucial, be it before, be it after. It's always, because we're on visa. So, we have to be really intact with our documents, with our answers. And it's just not one time. We still have to go back and then come again. So there could be questions on that as well. So I would just say be truthful. I haven't left the country yet. I haven't gone back home yet. So I would not know that experience. But I've had friends who have gone back. So this process is crucial, just, to be sure of, to have correct documents and to have the correct information to be shared. Go ahead.
Yeah, um, what were we talking about?
The deferral. We just derailed
Oh,
it.
yeah, so I deferred all my applications. The reason for the deferral also, the day I got my Northeastern I-20, that was the first time I actually like it hit me that I'm gonna leave Hyderabad and I'm going to go and live in another country altogether. And I literally had tears streaming down my face a little bit because it was so overwhelming and it hit me at once all of a sudden. But then a couple of minutes in, you know, we had a discussion. My family, we sat down and we talked through it. We thought, okay, let's defer. That felt like the right option given that I did not have anything ready. I didn't have a loan. I did not even think of what all I needed, now that I have to go. So it was at that stage, and we all thought, okay, let's defer since we have the option, why not? And I just deferred my application to fall. I took up a full-time job as well because now that I had to stay back, I wanted to do something and not just have a gap on my resume as well. And so I started, now I knew that the visa process is going to take forever. So I started looking for the visa slots very early. It's like sometime in April itself, I started looking for the slots. I made sure Northeastern sent me my latest I-20. And I think I got my visa slot I got it in May and I got it on June first week, sometime around first week. And it was very lucky that I got both my dates like one after another. Like I had the first
And
date.
you got it in Hyderabad, or did you apply in another consultancy?
I got it in Chennai,
Okay.
and it was very early. It was still in June, but I wanted to take that opportunity, so I just went for it. So yeah, I just took the slot in June in Chennai, and everything after that was very it was very like very happy and very like smooth sailing. But I was definitely a little anxious about the visa process. Like, um, I was hearing a lot of students were getting rejected, even though they were going to very good universities. So, I was not super scared about it, but then I had just had a little like, the luck factor that they say. I was hoping that, it goes well. And yeah, so we went to Chennai, me and my father, and we stayed there for 3 days, I think. Yeah. And the first day was very like you just had to get your documents checked and everything. That was fine. The third day was my visa day. And the line was, there were so many students, and it was early June already. And it was
Yeah.
still early June, and there were so many students
It's
outside.
always packed. I went up to
Yeah,
the Delhi location, and I was so overwhelmed. It was like scorching heat and everyone standing in a line, and there are like tons and tons of students. And there's always like a suspense when you go in. There's a lot of process, and then you
yeah,
somehow go ahead and stand in front of a window where you're given
yeah,
opportunity to talk. And then when you get outside, it's like a suspense for your parents, for your loved ones to know, is it done?
yeah,
Is it done?
yeah,
Are you in? They took your
yeah.
passport.
Yeah, we went around 20 minutes before my time, and we were standing there. I could see a lot of students. Some were coming up with so much excitement, and some were waving like a green paper that they were giving out that day in Chennai. I think that was the like you got the visa paper, and there was another slip for students who did not get their visa, and there was like a green slip that I saw everyone like they were waving it through like the crowd, and some parents were jumping, and there was a lot happening there. Then I told my father, okay, see, I'm going to wave the green paper if I get it. And there were so many police people that day at the scene. And it was very, very crowded. They were asking the parents to like stay away from the road because it was that crowded. So my father was standing somewhere there and I had to go somewhere inside. And then the line started. So it was a very long queue. It was very hot. There were too many students and it was very, very, very crowded. So yeah, I went in that the line was very, I did not get anxious till I entered the main room where I could see the process happening. Most of the students were doing well. I could see a lot of green slips. I was confident. I knew what I was going for. I knew my university, the facts of my university, the facts of my profile. So I was not scared of anything. I was just hoping that I get through it properly. And there was one guy. So I got into a line of the the counter. The guy in front of me was waiting for his turn, and he was going for his bachelor's in US, and they rejected his visa. That's when I started panicking a little bit, but I calmed myself down, and there was no water around as well. Like you just have to stand in the line. So I was just like, okay, take deep breaths and fully calm myself down. It was my turn. They honestly did not ask me a lot of questions. Only two questions. One was which university are you going for? And the second question was, how are you financing yourself? And I said that I'm taking out a student loan from so and so company with so and so interest and on so and so amount. And that's it. They said, congrats. Here's your, have a good stay in US. That's it. Yeah.
That's great, actually. For me, also, it happened in the similar lines that ahead of me, there was a guy who was to get his B1, B2, the tourist visa, get approved. And there was some issues in his DS 160, and because of which he got rejected. And the officer who was at my counter got really pissed. And I was like, I was looking right, left. Can I just change my line, please? Probably I would not want to go to him because he's a little pissed. Maybe what if he does not accept my application? And I went ahead of him. For me, also, it was really brief. He asked me which university, he asked me my curriculum as well. And he asked me how much is the scholarship you're getting and how are you financing it. Finance question is the common one they ask you every time. And then he took a pause for 1 or 2 seconds and I was just looking at him. I was just being hopeful. Okay, okay. And he said, congratulations. You'll get your visa after so and so days and stuff like that. And it was for a moment of me, I took my file and I just ran before he could just change his mind or he could ask anything else. I just ran outside and I came up with my sister. She stays in Delhi. So I was just dancing and everything that I got it, I got it.
Yeah.
And then eventually, after a week, I was supposed to pick it up from the
Okay.
consultancy. So I walked up to the consultancy and I picked up. So I had a little less time. So one pro tip, if you are running late or anything of that sort, you can just pick that from a consultancy. It just gets back in 5 to 6 days because probably the delivery may take time or anything. But if you directly pick it up, it's quicker because the consultancy gets it first and then it gets to your delivery address. So that's a pro tip if anyone wants to take it up. So yeah, I know visa process is really hectic in everybody's life, and that's one experience that you get to see it alone. You can
Yeah.
just tell everyone, but you can't actually make anyone see it. So probably our parents would see it somewhere down the line if they apply for tourist visa, so they have to go through the same part where we went through. So that's the thing. So thank you so much for making us understand through your visa process. So when was your start date? Like when was your program supposed to start and when did you arrive in the States?
So my program was starting on September 8th. That
Okay.
was the first day. But I came to US on August 23rd. I actually went to Chicago first. My cousin lives there and I wanted to spend a couple of days with her before I moved to Boston.
Mhm.
So I landed in Chicago first, stayed there for a couple of days. Then I came to Boston on the 3rd of September.
Mhm. And you
Uh,
already had your place and everything already sorted back.
Yes, after I got my visa, in the June or the first week of June, immediately I started looking for places. I started making some friends.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Okay.
I had everything ready, good to go.
So my next part, which is basically like, how were your initial days slash weeks, like your first month, when you were living on your own in Boston, and then college and a lot of other logistic events like transportation, food, groceries, bank things. Uh, how were you dealing up with all those things?
Um, Everything was definitely overwhelming. I wouldn't say it was too much challenging, but it was a lot because this was the first time I'm doing anything on my own. So even from cooking food, cooking my own food, everything was like new to me. And I was living in a sharing accommodation, but my we were just getting to know each other. So my roommates were also very kind and they were very understanding, adjusting. All of us were getting along well. Um, we kind of helped each other too, like with all the Northeastern processes and all the uh, documentation we had to get through in the first week of the semester. But opening a bank, I would say, is pretty easy. You just have to make an appointment with the bank you want to go for. I went with BOFA because they had good, especially for students, I think it's a good bank to go with. And I just took all my documents, passport, I-20, and all the supporting documents to the bank just in case they would want to check anything or verify anything. Everything was pretty straightforward. She was explaining the person who was taking me through the process. She explained me the whole thing, how it was going to work, how my account will be set up, how I can transfer from my account to my India account or vice versa, anything of that sort. I would say one thing is that I love the most is how everyone is so helpful here. Um, Everyone just they go out of their way if you ask them a question or if you're confused, and if you just let them know that you want some help, they'll be more than happy to help you. And I think that's something that's really, really nice of people over here.
And it's
And
even on the road as well if you're
yeah,
walking. And everyone's really friendly. That's something that I also noticed. That's like a culture thing here. And I really like that. Be it for like very small issues of directions or anything.
yeah,
And it's really commendable. That just makes you feel more warm here. And yeah, that I would agree to your point.
yeah. Next was transportation. I love that Boston is so well connected that I would rather walk or take the train to anywhere. Like I can go anywhere in the city without having like, oh, I need a car to go there. So I don't
Oh,
have
that's
that
great.
issue. But in the beginning, it was so confusing. It was even confusing to get to the university from my place, to get used to the trams and where they go. How do I take this train? I had to change trains as well. So that was pretty confusing in the beginning, but yet it just took us like 1 week to get used to that as well. But I love the transportation here. Um,
That's
Even
great.
though it
That would
has,
really help
yeah,
a lot of students to,
yeah, definitely.
travel through the city in trains, and they don't have to go, obviously there's an option to, go by rides, like book a ride and through that. But,
Yeah.
as a student, you would really want to do economical things. So that's great. That's great. One.
Yeah, it's very budget friendly. You get to see the whole city on your way, and you can really explore how much ever you want without that, stress that, oh my God, you have to spend so much to go there, to go here, because it's very budget friendly. And in the first semester, I took a pass, what do you, the transportation pass
Yeah.
that Northeastern had to offer with a discount.
Mhm.
And I just took that because I didn't know how it would go. But one semester in, I understood everything, how everything goes, and then I didn't have to take a pass. I understood how to just refill my card and how to use the transportation to my benefit.
Yeah, it
Even
takes time, but eventually you get hold of things. It's very important for you to get lost once,
yeah, yeah,
but you learn from it. That's totally fine. Yeah.
yeah. That's definitely, Boston is such a beautiful place. Sometimes I usually get on at one station and just walk. There's so much to see, and the scenery is just so beautiful. There's so many rivers, and there's so many beautiful places to just sit and soak in the environment and the beauty of Boston. It's definitely, if you're looking for some peaceful times, there's a lot of places in Boston to uh you know
I will
uh,
plan soon.
that. Yeah. And then again, it has a vibrant scene, like it has a good party scene, it has a nightlife scene. It has everything you would want in a city. That's one of the major reasons I chose Northeastern, because of the city, because it has such a college experience going on there. There's BU here, Northeastern, Harvard, MIT, everything is in the
Yeah.
city. So even the networking opportunities are pretty good. Like you would always run into someone, and you never know what conversation you'll end up with them. And it's always nice to meet new people here. So yeah.
Everyone, if you would like to have that kind of a city vibe, and if you have like a thing for Harvard, MIT to visit those places, Boston is the place. So that it's easily accessible for you to be part of those great institutions as well, visit them. And obviously all the students there actually coexist together, be it Northeastern, Harvard, MIT, or any other college, or maybe Boston University. You're actually coexisting together, so there's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to intermingle in different institutions as well. So there's a lot of opportunities. I understand there would have been, and you would have make made use of all of those opportunities. So yeah, that's great. And moving ahead, I know since we are talking about that Boston is a hub of a lot of great universities, and we've had like main students there studying in different universities, and then there's like a lot of folks getting out for jobs or internships. So do you want to talk briefly about your internship experience in your uh, time with in Boston at Northeastern? Uh, if you're okay, where did you went for your internships, how many you did, and how many are allowed as part of the curriculum? Because I know you mentioned, and a lot of folks also say that the co-op program is something that makes the Northeastern University stand out. So we just want to talk more about that as well.
Yeah, so definitely applying for internships was a big part of my early 2023, when I was applying for summer 2023 internships. And luckily, at the end of May, I got my internship at Waitress. I went through interviews with a couple of companies, and Waitress stood out the best for me in terms of the work they were offering, the compensation they were offering. Everything about it really resonated with me. So I went with Waitress for my summer internship. And I had the opportunity to work on, so my role was information security intern, and I was working with the incident response team. And so I worked in incident response and threat hunting. And coming to the whole internship experience itself, my major focus, like the main project of my internship, was the MITRE attack framework initiative that I took up. I analyzed and uh, I did a coverage on their environment, with just identifying the detection gaps within the environment and everything. And this helped me like develop and create a version of the framework attack for the particular company, like specialized for the company. And this was the major part of my internship. I did proactive threat hunting with endpoint detection. And I also did a little bit of security, like triaging security incidents, reviewing closed incidents, and documentation and other stuff that they needed help with. It was overall an amazing experience that I could have had for an internship. It was very fulfilling, and by the end of it, I've learned so much outside of my coursework, and to be able to put all that into practical implementations was something really fun. I had so much fun throughout all that, and yeah, that was my summer. My work was remote, luckily, but the office was it's in Pittsburgh, the main office. So I went to Pittsburgh for a week. That's when I went to CMU as well. But yeah, it was a fun week. I got to talk to all the people at Waitress. They had such a fun work environment. And all the people on my team were also they were very helpful. They're very open to new ideas. They always welcomed, they encouraged me to, speak up every meeting we had or every time we had a discussion or anything. They always encouraged me to ask questions, come up with any ideas that I had. So yeah, it was a good experience overall.
That's amazing. And what I can hear actually is you did a lot of an incident response, and that's commendable. And I would just say that we were having this conversation before this podcast as well, that, it just feels really great when you have learned something theoretically in your coursework and then you get to see the reality of it. How do you apply it? That's just so much fun. So,
Yeah.
I myself am doing it. So, what I've learned back in my MS degree, and then I apply it here and I see those terms. So it just feels, oh my God, it's just what I actually learned, but it was majorly theoretical things, or I
Yeah.
was working on a live project, but it was just a dummy project that we were going through it. And here I'm actually dealing up with real scenarios. And as an intern, I also worked at the state of Georgia, and I was also working towards their identity side. And I was also really glad as an intern I could work on all those things. And similar to you as well, you have done a lot of things. And I know it would have been a great experience for you to learn all those things and understand the criticality of incident and response. And obviously, you had hands-on skills on the documentations as well, like what you were working, you were
Yeah.
documenting things and catering to that as well. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest students to, like, whatever you're doing during your coursework, if you can convert it into a project, because master's coursework is so rigorous that you can put that into some kind of projects and you can show that as something that you've worked with or something that you are capable of, working with. So even during all my interviews, I did just before my interview started in my semester, I was doing risk management course, and it was the most fun course I ever did. Like, I'm almost done with my Northeastern masters, and I have to agree that it was the most fun. It was very rigorous, but then still, like, when I had the final documentation after my semester was over, and when I was able to talk about it in the interviews, I could see that I could see how much I learned about risk, about all the different kinds of controls, all the different kind of policies, and before coming to masters, I had no idea about all these stuff, NIST, MITRE attack frameworks, the iOS standards, all
Yeah.
these. It was so much fun just learning about them, and then when I could show in the interviews that I have the theoretical knowledge of this and that I can implement these like this, like this, like this, I think that was definitely a standout point.
Yeah.
So I would totally encourage anyone who's doing masters to convert your coursework into something that you can show as a work experience.
I agree. I agree. Catching up to that point, one thing that I wanted to ask you as well regarding the co-op program is it something that the university gives you a couple of options to apply at particular places, or as part of the program, like what is the process? How do you apply? Are you given like a set of organizations and you apply to them, or do you do it yourself?
So, Northeastern definitely has its own co-op program where you can apply when it comes on their platform. But while doing that, I also applied on my own through LinkedIn, Indeed, all these platforms. I got the internship on my own. It wasn't through Northeastern. But Northeastern does, like, if you apply through Northeastern, there's definitely a plus that, okay, you're applying through the university. So you have a plus there.
I get that.
But this internship, I got it through LinkedIn and I applied it on my own. It wasn't through Northeastern. But Northeastern has a very a flexible schedule for all this. So you can do more than one internship, more than one co-op during your master's. I know a lot of students have done more than two co-ops during their whole program. So I know a lot of universities don't
And
allow or they don't have that flexibility, but Northeastern's Corey College of Computer Sciences allows this. So if you do one internship, you have to come back do a semester, but you can apply for another internship after your semester. So that
great.
way you can do multiple co-ops as well if you
I
want to.
understand that my university also has the same, because couple of university has this thing that you have to do an outside internship, or some knowledge that you have to gain in as part of your semester. So with your coursework, you should have an internship as well. Either you go back to that internship in the next semester as well, but one you have to do. So yeah, so everyone just have a note that you can do more than one internship as well. It just depends on your schedule. How can you follow the coursework and the internship as well? Because do not forget, you need to have like a minimum of 3.0 GPA all the time. So that is something that you have to focus on as well. And obviously, internships are a plus point there. Thank you so much, Anusha. And that is actually getting us to the very end of the podcast session. And before I head, to the last segment, I really wanted to ask you. I know you're graduating soon this year. Congratulations in advance for that. And it's a very big win that you've done. That is something we all are here for, to complete our dreams of getting masters from abroad, and that too from such an esteemed institution that you are graduating. So I would say congratulations for that. And with that being said, I know you are graduating soon, so you would have been searching for jobs, and we know how the job market is. So I just wanted to ask, what are a couple of roles or positions that you are currently focusing on once you're through with your graduation?
Yeah, thank you so much. I do feel very accomplished right now that I'm able to finish everything,
You
and I'm
should.
very
It's a
grateful.
great win. It's a great win.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for all the experiences I've got to have, the internship, and ever since I finished my internship from the last two semesters, I've also been Northeastern's Corey College of Computer Sciences ambassador, student ambassador as well. And Northeastern has given me more, like way more than I expected it to. So I'm, very grateful for the experiences. And I'm applying right now. I am rigorously applying for jobs for, something to get as soon as I graduate. I'll be graduating in May. So I'm open to any roles in cybersecurity. I'm not very picky. I'm not being very picky right now because I'm still an entry level uh, um, something I'm an entry level student, so I don't want to close myself off with particular roles only. So I'm being very open and I'm flexible. I would love to work in any area of cybersecurity, and I'm actually excited to work in new areas. I know cybersecurity is such a vast field, and there's so much to dwell into. But since I've had some experience with instant response and threat hunting, and a little bit of risk management, I think GRC and compliance would be something that would definitely give me a little bit of uh, it's like a because of my little experience that I've had, I think it would be a good fit. But I am open to any kind of roles, any kind of cybersecurity roles that are open and that would be a good fit for me. So yeah.
I agree. I agree. You're just starting with cybersecurity, and it is really vast. But I really want to put out this point here. I know the job market is really bad, and to everyone out there, if you happen to know anyone who is hiring anyone into incident response, threat hunting, GRC compliance, or any entry level jobs into cybersecurity, it would be really great if you could, get back to Anusha, and we'd be having all her details in the chat section below. So, you can go ahead, follow her on LinkedIn, get a hold of her resume, her LinkedIn ID, or how you want to communicate. So it would be a great help because she's had experience working with an organization and graduating from Northeastern. So just to request everyone, if you're hiring and if you happen to know anyone, or just connect with her. Thank you. And with that being said, I wish you really good luck. And before I call off this podcast today, there's just one question that I usually put it out for everyone out, that, just two examples from your entire experience here, where one, you thought things would go really south, but actually was was just a cakewalk, and things that you thought would be a cakewalk but really went south. So, something opposite to what you thought before coming here, and just those examples.
I think forming connections both ways for the both answers. Uh, like sometimes, like when we are young, it's very easy to make friends and it's very easy to connect with people. But as you grow older and as you land yourself in such competitive environments, it can be very challenging to form these connections that are genuine and that are actually good for you. So uh, I met tons of people. I networked with a lot of people, some great, outstanding people. But it also meant that when I was meeting so many people, it also meant that I was like navigating through like a like bunch of personalities and perspectives. And I think it's very crucial to surround yourself with people who are genuine and supportive, and rather than engaging in unnecessary negativity, and I just wanted to steer clear of any such negative dynamics, which is very difficult to do once if you have established friendships. And I feel it's always important that you should have friends who are not threatened by your success, who don't think that your success is their failure, and vice versa. So that was one thing that was very, like, I did not expect it to be so tough to make some genuine friends. But then I did find a good community and supportive friends who were there with me, and who are always encouraging, and like we all are in such a supportive environment. So that is one thing that I navigated through in a very weird way, but yeah.
I agree. Yeah.
One thing that went smoothly that I didn't expect so much was maybe living in Boston. Like I did not in the beginning, it was very scary. It's the lifestyle here, and the expenses here are not like other cities. It's a little bit on the expensive side. But once I got the hang of it, it just took me 1, 2 months. But once I got the hang of it, I figured out how I can use my budget to see that I am fulfilled with everything I need. So that was one thing. I thought it would be too much for me, because in the first 2 months, I could see how much the expenses were going on, and how much it was costing to live in Boston. But once I got a hang of it, it was all right. And I was like, oh, I was worried about nothing. So yeah.
Yeah. Like we were just talking initially as well, it just takes time. And the second thing is, you always have to get lost. You always have to fall briefly once for you to get up stronger and better. So that,
Definitely.
you always remember those things till your grave, that, That is something. So that hit is important. I would not say it's mandatory, but if you get it, you learn much faster. So that's how we're all existing here. We're learning through our mistakes and through our expenses, through a lot of other decisions we made here. Not all of our decisions made here is always correct. There are things that, we came to understand later in life that we could have done this better or anything of that sort. But yeah, I'll not hold you up for long. And I hope so everyone who has heard through this podcast would get to have a good feeling about the process and how did you cater through Northeastern and how did it all went for you professionally, personally. I know things are at a bumpy ride, but I would really wish you land up to a great place in the coming months, and I wish you good luck for that. But at the last, before we just call off this podcast, if you have like couple of sentences for the folks who are sitting from different countries watching your podcast and you know wanting to get here at Northeastern or to any other university, what are few in a few sentences you could give them as an advice if they're moving to any country abroad for their studies?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for the kind words. It's such a pleasure to be on the podcast with you, Sanam. It's been great. I love the whole journey. Coming for some advice, I think please go for like prioritize the program content, like the curriculum, the elective options they have, and specialized tracks that the program may offer, and the research opportunities, maybe if you're interested to go that way. Don't blindly, just because someone is doing it, don't blindly go with that, because everyone's priorities and everyone's interests are different. And it's really important to figure out what you want with this life. So that's one thing. And when you're considering these universities and places you want to go to for your studies, I would suggest to consider the lifestyle, the cost of living, even the weather of the place, just so you know what you're getting into and how okay you are, how adjusting you can be, how you can adapt to these changes. So you should really think about that, consider that in your decisions, so that you can have the best opportunities for your personal and professional growth. And once you've taken your decision and once you're here, never look back, just go with it. You'll have some of the best experiences of your life. And every opportunity comes with a challenge, of course. So I think uh, you shouldn't get to especially right now, I can see like so many students applying for jobs, they're facing so many rejections. And I think that if you're in a phase of getting too many rejections, I just want you to know that rejection means redirection, and you're just being redirected to where you're meant to be. So don't get too hung up on that and let the negativity of all of that affect you. So I think you should really try to have a positive mindset. I wouldn't say like be positive all the time, but I think it's definitely important to not stay in the negative mindset for a long period of time. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, Sanam. This was great. Thank you.
No worries. And those were really inspiring words. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope this helps a lot of the folks. And if you want to reach out to Anusha, if you want to get hold of her experience, drill down to more other questions that we talked about today and that we may have missed it today, and you wanted to talk specifically with her, we'd have all her handles below in the description box, and you could totally get hold of her, talk to her, and if there are any open positions that she could contest for, please reach out to her as well. She is into the job market, and that would be a great help. So thank you, everyone. Stay safe and good luck for your future. Thank you so much, Anusha.
Thank you.
Bye.